Welcome to another episode of Moving Forward Talk with Diana. This platform is open to discuss various topics with the goal to influence others to become proactive with shaping their future without limitation. This week we have Micasha Cardwell.
Hi.
Micasha, it's a pleasure to have you on Moving Forward Talk with Diana.
Yes, it's nice to be here.
Micasha will be discussing domestic violence based on her experience. I'm sorry to learn that you had experienced domestic violence. But before we go into that, share with me a bit of your family background, the family dynamic growing up.
Yes, so as far as my family background, it was always just me and my mom. Growing up, I never really had like a father figure or anything like that. And I do feel like that kind of played a big role in kind of me waiting so long to get out of a domestic violence situation. Um, but yeah, it was just always me and my mom growing up. She was very ambitious, so I wanted to be, you know, just as independent and ambitious as her. So.
And then you got involved in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you got into this serious relationship?
19.
19.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did this relationship last?
6 years.
And for those 6 years, how many years would you say that domestic abuse was involved?
To be honest, like the whole 6 years.
The whole 6
it just
years.
was like levels.
And you mentioned that not having a father figure contributed to the relationship choice that you made. Could it be that you found that male love that you were looking for?
Mm-hmm. In a way, yes, because he was both. Like he would be loving, but then turn around and be like extremely abusive. So it was just confusing.
So when he was good, he was good.
Really good, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he wasn't good, he was like a whole another person.
Yeah.
Now, were you in denial at first, or could it be that you didn't know that it was domestic violence?
I was in denial big time, but then I knew it was domestic violence at the same time. But sometimes, when you're in love, you don't see, or sometimes you let certain things slide because you're in love with the person.
And I can understand that. Sometimes we endure because, and it's not that we're stuck, but we're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And there are different factors that contribute to us feeling stuck in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that kids are involved. It could be that this is the only guy that I realize actually loved me.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be sometimes we are stuck because we don't want another failed relationship.
Yeah.
At what point did you actually acknowledge that I must get out of this relationship?
It was when like the last time was when I suffered from a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
I did the online doctor thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me like it was basically a concussion. I shouldn't have went to sleep, things like that. That was like the last time that I was able to just take it, and I had to just leave.
Now you have two handsome boys with
Thank
him.
you.
Very handsome. Have they ever saw him physically abuse you?
Yes.
And at your son's age, how do you explain, or what do you explain to them?
So we typically don't really talk about it unless they bring it up. My oldest, he really doesn't bring up anything, but my youngest is a mama's boy, so he's going to tell me like pretty much everything and how he feels and things like that. So sometimes he'll tell me that he doesn't miss his dad because he punches me. So I have to kind of like go through that and try to Explain to them both like hitting people is not okay, and especially not a female.
Right. How has that actually impacted you mentally? We know about the physical, but how has that impacted you mentally?
Mentally, it took me down like really really like low to the point where I didn't think I was pretty. I didn't think pretty much any other person would want to, I guess, be with me. Um, because that's what I was told. And once a person has your mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to like untangle and
Right.
try to like it's hard to just get away from it all. But once you do, like now I'm like in a much better headspace.
So, and this is probably the strangest question that somebody would ask you.
It's okay.
During that time, enduring physical abuse,
hmm
when you look in the mirror, what did you see?
Um, I saw a person that I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and she was just like just beaten.
Worthless, probably,
Yeah.
not knowing where to turn.
Mm-hmm.
And walk me through your transition. You decided at this point, I must get out. What was the transition of getting out like? Because sometimes we say we must get out, but we don't get up and go that particular day or time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a process. Walk us through that transition.
So the first step was not to answer my door, and I literally let him knock at my door all night until I went to sleep. The next day, I woke up and was just like, "Oh, I can definitely do this." Because when he would come around, I like give in, and that day or that night, I didn't give in, and that was just like it from there. So when I didn't let him in, the next day I woke up feeling rejuvenated. Then I start focusing on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then focusing on my children, which I say that because sometimes, like a lot of people, don't really get certain things. Like for instance, we need to. I'm sorry, as women or just single moms, period. We need to start off with ourselves first because if we don't have the mental capability to take care of the kids, they go slacking. So I need to take care of myself first, then them, and then everything would fall back into place.
And that is so true because if we're not mentally capable, if we're not physically able, we cannot take care of our children.
No, exactly.
And I've always used this approach or to compare that with. It's just like being on a flight, and the air hostess or flight attendant will give you the instructions. And one of the things that they would say, in case of an emergency, you take care of yourself first. You put your mask on first before you try to help the other person beside you. So you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of your boys. How has your healing process been? Or what did you use for your healing process?
So pretty much, my healing process was basically just to pray, meditate, and just keep busy, and just mainly focus on myself. And the biggest part of me is manifesting. I took a screenshot of my car that I wanted from 2013. I took the screenshot. It was the exact same color and everything, and I manifested it once I was done with everything, and I got the exact car that I wanted. I mean, everything that I have now, I put all of my time and energy into it.
What about your education?
Yes, so I went back and got my phlebotomy license.
Excellent.
Yes, ma'am. And then now I'm a debt collector, which I like that like a lot more. But other than
Please
that,
don't call me though.
okay. Okay. But yeah, I find joy in being a collections agent. I like it a lot. But yeah, it's just it was a big lesson learned. I still go through things, so what I would tell anybody is just if you have a way out and no ties to a person and they're treating you bad, or like sometimes you just don't feel right about a situation while you have time and no strings attached, go.
And I say it, and I'm gonna say this, not saying it slightly. The best thing for us to do in be it men or women, because there are men too who suffer domestic violence, believe it or not. But the best thing for us to do is to try to get out as soon as possible. Sometimes we stay a little bit too long. It's too late by the time we get ready to go because we're dead. A lot of people don't survive it. They stay for whatever reason until they're either shot to death, beaten to death, or something. But they end up dead. So it is a good thing that you got out now. What do you tell your boys? You don't have girls, but what will you tell the boys about how to treat women? They're growing up, and within 10, 15 years, they'll be in relationships.
So I would just, tell them not to, play with people's emotions and just always, always tell the truth no matter what a person feels or how they may take it, but always, show them respect. Certain things people are not going to like that come out of your mouth, but that doesn't mean that you have to say it in a negative way, because people have triggers and things like that, and that's the biggest thing that I learned in my relationship was triggers. Like, people have certain triggers, and sometimes you can't just be flying, off the handle on everything,
right?
Because other people be going through stuff too. So my biggest thing would just to tell them just to respect and just let everybody know that you're on this chapter of the book, so everybody can be on the same page.
Everybody can be on the same page. Now, tell me, who is Markeisha today versus Markeisha a year ago?
So, versus me a year ago, who I am today, basically, I'm just more about me. I'm more outgoing, more open, definitely more open, more spoken, more spoken. Like, I'm just, I don't know, I'm like adventurous now. I want to try new things. I'm not as shy. I'm still pretty shy, but not as shy. And I definitely am like a diehard mom, like a better mom.
And I can see, because I follow you on Facebook, and I can see how you enjoy being a mom to your two handsome sons. And sometimes I look at Markeisha and I said, is this Markeisha I knew in 5th grade? From 5th grade now, I've grown up being a mother. You're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
And, maybe you weren't ready for kids at the time that they came. But it is probably one of the best things that happened to you, because you could be still out there searching to find that male, or probably still with that person, thinking that is the male who loves you. But now you have two. And they love you, and we love you unconditionally. As I sit here, I asked a question earlier saying, were you in denial or you didn't know? And the reason why I asked that question, in case someone is wondering, how could you not know it was domestic violence? Sometimes we don't know, depending on the method that they're using. We confuse domestic violence sometimes because it's not physical, but it could be from simply pulling off the hair. And I'm not saying that each time your boyfriend, husband, pull off the hair, wife, girlfriend, or whoever pulls your hair, it's domestic violence. No, because you should know the relationship between you two to know if he's been playful or if he's been
Yeah.
aggressive. Sometimes it could be controlling you
Mm-hmm.
from your family. If he or she ever tries to keep you away from the family, it's probably one of his mechanisms because you're away from your family, you can't ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it could be just controlling every bit of the finance in the house where you cannot do anything for yourself. So you have to sit there because you depend on him. If you're experiencing domestic abuse, there's an 800 number that you can call for assistance, and that number is 1-800-799-7233. There's also local places in your area. Research those numbers, get some help, but please do not stay until it is too late. Well, Markeisha, thank you for sharing your story. And if you do need any assistance, I probably cannot assist you on my own, but there are various people within the community that I know that I can link you with, because when we go through these experiences, it takes a toll on us mentally, takes a toll on our self-esteem, and sometimes when we think we are healed, we're not healed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. We think we're healed and we're not healed, and the simplest of things can trigger that.
Yeah.
And then it's sometimes not a very pretty picture.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need any assistance, you can call me at any time.
Okay.
Thank you again for sharing.
You're welcome.
And from here forward, what's the next chapter for you? Moving forward from this relationship, what's next for you?
So what's next for me is I'm really working on getting a 2-story house because me and Kaden want stairs.
Right.
So we're like trying to make something happen, and just day by day getting better and just being a better mom and person all the way around.
And it's very much possible. And you mentioned that you read your Bible. Continue to read your Bible. Not only read the Bible, but apply it to your everyday life and pray, seek God's face, and everything will work out for the better good.
Thank you.